Welcome to the next edition of the TMS podcast. This is a Sunday night edition, something we don't usually do, and a topic that we don't usually talk about on here, at least not for a full show. It's wrestling, as Aaron would call it, but talking some WWE here with my guys, Shay Omanera and Eric Cass. How y'all doing tonight, man?
And just doing fine. Just ready to talk about this fallout from Summerslam. And yeah, ready to get started.
Just that final match just makes me miss old wrestling.
Yeah, definitely is an old school story. I'll speak about my experience before we get into the matches. So that was my first SummerSlam going to. First time being in Detroit. I've been in the airport, but I've never been in the actual city. Got a chance to catch the end of like the Tigers game a little bit that was out there. More fans popped up to the Tiger game than I expected. Ford Field is nicer than I thought as well. I know that's been around for a while, so yeah, it was about a little under 60,000 as they said on there, but it was cool. Fans were on go from like 4:30 on. Like folks were outside. The line was like from like literally one street to the other. That's how long the line was getting in there. They had a bunch of stuff out there, but yeah, I enjoyed it. I can say now I've been to all four of the big pay-per-views. So that's Royal Rumble, Survivor Series, WrestleMania, and now SummerSlam. So I will be at WrestleMania next year in Philadelphia. Like it's too close to me not to go. And once again, I don't have anything else to worry about. Like I said, I bills are paid, thankfully. So I'm like, if I'm gonna do it, that's one thing I really do throughout the year. So I'm gonna make sure that I at least get to night one, depending on what's happening. But yeah, I enjoyed it. Hopefully you guys are able to experience one of those pay-per-views.
So how's the fan experience for going to SummerSlam then compared to going to like a Monday Night Raw or Friday Night SmackDown? Because I've been to day one, but I don't really count that as a real pay-per-view. And I've been a plenty Monday Night Raws and plenty Friday Night SmackDowns, but haven't been to a major pay-per-view like SummerSlam.
Yeah, it wasn't as hype as WrestleMania, I would say. Like for certain individuals, got certain pops. So obviously, the Cody Rhodes, even Brock Lesnar. I said, don't know how well. Brock got a big pop. So I think for certain fans, they were. Just certain fans, certain wrestlers, they were going crazy for. But yeah, it's I probably it's a step below WrestleMania, because WrestleMania they definitely go all out with just the pyros and the entrances and all that stuff. So it wasn't. I don't think they went into it, with all the entrances like that for this. I mean, they had some pyro, but I think maybe because of how it was constructed in there, they couldn't do as much because what wasn't seen on TV. There was like a whole backside showed off. There's probably like another 10,000 seats that wasn't even there, but like I said, they had almost 60,000 people in that space. But for me as a fan, I had a good time. Food was good. People were great. Lot calmer than when I went to Dallas. When I went to Dallas for WrestleMania last year, people weren't as they weren't as cool. People in the Midwest are they're really calm. So I noticed that firsthand. So I definitely would go back there if they have another big event there.
You tasted the food. So have you tasted the pizza? Because I hear a lot about Detroit pizza being its own thing too.
Yep, went to this spot called Brass Rail. I didn't have the pizza, but my friend that was there, she loves it.
He was nervous, folks.
No, I like pizza, but no, I mean I don't. So I can't tell you if the Detroit style pizza is better than the Chicago. I've had Chicago deep dish, and to me, there isn't much better than the Chicago deep dish. So
How
is it compared to New York? Because I've only been in New York, so I can only talk about the New York style pizza.
So personally, I would take New York pizza personally, but Chicago to me is right behind it, a second. Like I wouldn't put any other city above New York or Chicago. Once again, I don't know if I come back to Detroit and have it. Maybe they creep into the number two, but to me, New York is one, and then Chicago is a second. So I know I know Aaron got some place up there in New Haven, up there too, that they do really well. So I have to try that when I come back around those parts as well. So, but good food, good vibes. So yeah, let's just get into the matches. So, started off with Logan Paul against Ricochet. So I see Aaron, you're shaking your head. So just what were your thoughts on that match?
It's just crazy. He was a clown doing that, and his brother was a clown doing the boxing the same night.
They both won though.
It was just crazy. I mean, the brass knuckles. I didn't expect that near the end to actually beat him, but I mean, he had some good moves. He had some, so I was a little impressed.
Yeah, Logan Paul, he is the best athlete. I mean, best non wrestler turned wrestler I've ever seen. Like, I haven't seen anybody with that type of athleticism who wasn't a wrestler or a professional athlete prior. I guess technically he is a boxer, but I'm saying that in air quotes.
Right.
Yeah, it. I think, and just in terms of the pure wrestling, aside from the finish, because the finish to me was kind of lame, but it was. I think that was the best wrestling match of the night, aside from the finish. But he had the storyline with Logan Paul and Samantha Irvin. Samantha Irvin being being engaged to Ricochet, Logan Paul's opponent, and having Samantha Irvin saying his name. I actually did a comment on the WWE page saying
I saw that.
yeah, I'm shocked. Samantha Irvin actually replied. So I said that Samantha Irvin should have said Logan Paul's name was Low Enthusiasm. You know, like how PA announcers speak about the players on the away team. And then she said, like, nah, she don't stoop to his unprofessionalism. So
that's okay. Yeah. That's okay. I saw that was like, yo, I said, we got to bring that up. Yeah, no, listen, he, and once again, and I know because for those that have listened, we brought this up on the show before. Aaron is a big MMA guy, and rightfully so. Like they put on great matches consistently, and there's a bunch of great fighters in all those divisions. But with wrestling, like it's about storytelling, right? And Logan Paul, like you said, Shay, like he gets better. Like to me, he gets better every time. And what for him to be in that match right away when he was with Roman Reigns last year, I think at Crown Jewel, whatever, I think pay-per-view that was. I think they saw whatever he was working behind the scenes. Like, okay, like he can handle being in these moments. And once again, it's a lot of pressure to open the show. So for him to be in that moment, I was like, okay, like yeah, he's definitely starting to understand the business for sure. In that regard, and he's a great heel because he's not going to be something that's going to be a face. He can't be a face.
When he originally debuted as a face, it was like Vince McMahon didn't know anything about Logan Paul because if you knew if you just knew 5 minutes of Logan Paul, you should know this guy should never ever be a face. He is absolutely unlikable.
You know who definitely isn't though? Ronda Rousey.
Yeah. So it's a great segue. So it didn't show on TV, but like I said, I'm there. As soon as the promo for the match came up on the screen, people literally were going up to get hot dogs. People were going to get beer. People were going to the bathroom. People was like, man, fuck this. I'm not watching it. It's like literally the only reaction that came about that match, there was two reactions. One was obviously when Ronda Rousey music hit. There was a lot of boos, so they probably tried to drown that out, but there was a lot of boos for Ronda. There literally was there was like what they call a no sell. There was like a no sell from the fans. Like literally, there was not a reaction at all. They put her in some type of submission. It was just like, ooh, like yay type thing. Like they didn't.
They carried on TV. Y'all were dead, and honestly, rightfully so. Like. What's the point of having a scripted MMA match? Like, if we wanted to watch MMA, we watch UFC, and that's not scripted. What is the point of having a scripted MMA match? They should have fought in the Fight Pit. I don't know if you ever watched the Fight Pit with Riddle and Timothy Thatcher back in NXT a long time ago, but they should have fought in the Fight Pit, not an MMA rules match. It was lame, man. What a bad send off for Ronda Rousey. Like Ronda Rousey's WWE run wasn't great. Let's put it that. It was pretty trash, to be honest.
Well, this second part, the first year and a half was really good.
Yeah,
I feel like but from 2021 to now was awful.
I say for what WWE expected of her, they didn't get the ROI back. They thought she should have been a much bigger star than what she was. But I think this was a horrible way to send it off. Like this was one of the worst possible matches you could have done.
but that was like her third. Like the only program that I enjoyed her in the last year or so was the one she did with Liv Morgan. I thought her and Liv had really good matches. But the match with Shotzi at Survivor Series was awful. This match, last night with Shayna Baszler, awful. I mean, once again, good for Shayna Baszler because once again the Queen of Spades gimmick kind of fell off, or
that's
that
the
kind
thing.
of did fall off. But
it was supposed to put Shayna Baszler over. Like and Shayna Baszler ain't that much over after being Ronda Rousey because that match was trash. It was
people did cheer that she had to win the match though. People were just like, yeah, like get her ass out of here.
They cheered because she beat Ronda Rousey. They didn't cheer because she's Shayna Baszler. That means next time on SmackDown when she comes back, or Raw, I forgot what show exactly. I forgot what show she's on.
Right, she's on exactly.
Then no one's going to care about Shayna Baszler anymore because the Ronda Rousey program is done. Like, so it didn't make Shayna Baszler a bigger star than what she was before that.
Right. Correct. So yeah, I mean, like that's enough. Because to me, I wrote to you about what was the worst match of the night. To me, that was the worst match. I think Aaron has a different perspective on the next match I'm about to bring up. So, me and Aaron talked about off the air a little bit about Cody Brock. So, Aaron said that was painful for him to watch. So I want to know your thoughts on why that was painful to watch for you.
Dude, Brock Lesnar was like kicking the shit out of him the whole whole match, and now all of a sudden he has this heart, and he just starts thrashing on Lesnar.
That's a typical wrestling match with a
face
and a heel.
It's just like, I don't know. Maybe I was just used to the MMA UFC Brock Lesnar, and then when I just saw that, I was just like, oh my god, yeah, this is terrible.
I think
Crossroads 1, 2, 3. It was great. But Shay, what were your thoughts on that match?
Yeah, I think by most people's opinions, that was the best match of the night because I mean, but the thing is, like, if you're used to seeing a Brock Lesnar match, this is basically a Brock Lesnar match. He'll kick the shit out of you especially if he's playing the heel. He'll kick the shit out of you for 90% of the match. But if you're the babyface as opposed to win, he'll kick the shit out of you. Then you'll have a comeback, and then you'll eventually survive and win against Brock Lesnar. Mm-hmm. But think about how much pull does Logan Paul have when Brock Lesnar didn't get the first match? Because usually Brock Lesnar wants the first match of each pay-per-view so he can fly back to Saskatchewan because he hates staying for the show long. But you know how much pull Logan Paul had to have to overtake Brock Lesnar and get the first match of the show? That was the biggest shocker to me. It was like, wow, like Logan Paul had more power than Brock Lesnar. But I like the match at the end of the day. Honestly, it wasn't like anything I was shocked to see the way the match went. I also did like that Brock Lesnar gave Cody a hug, raised his hand, because it basically tells him that the storyline with Brock Lesnar is over. Now it's on for Cody to move to Roman Reigns.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that I mean, and once again, Triple H talked about it after the show, saying that that was not supposed. That part was not supposed to happen. At least not on air anyway. Usually, a lot of that stuff happens off the air, and they'll shake hands or whatever. So to me, that was Brock giving him a stamp of approval. He's like, hey, this is your time, because usually, once again, I can't think of how many times. Yeah, I know he did it with Kurt Angle back in the day. But that was different. Like Kurt was the guy. He was the main event guy for a number of years. Excuse me. So it was cool to see that, and yeah, now it's back to this. Let's finish the story. Once again, that Brock Cody rivalry throughout the summer became a rivalry that I didn't know I needed, because when they gave it to us after WrestleMania, I was like, what are we doing? Like this he should be fighting Reigns again to get the title back. But once again, we're in this era of a long term storytelling, and I get it. It's been we've been a part of the microwave era lately. Or the last few years, I feel like of wrestling. So yeah, it was cool. But yeah, to see that happen like that, I enjoyed it. Like I said, I was surprised as well. Like you said, Shay, that it went on second. I know they were the main event at Backlash back in May. But I feel like he was like, I can stay here because it's Puerto Rico. He probably was like, it's Puerto Rico. Sable was probably, he's married to Sable. Sable probably was down there. He was like, you know what? I'm just going to enjoy my wife. Being in Puerto Rico, being the son, call it call it a day. So that's that. But I said that was my favorite match of the night. What we so Aaron, I'll come back to you. What were your thoughts on the Finn Balor Seth Rollins match for the World Heavyweight Championship?
I thought it was all right. I didn't think it was one of the worst matches. It was good though. Can't really have much to say.
I was like, Shay, what were your thoughts on the World Heavyweight Championship match between Finn and Seth Rollins?
I think after that time, because that was right after the Rousey match, correct? So it came to a point where I was kind of like starting to like my attention started to wane, where it's just like SummerSlam, like the pay-per-view wasn't bad, but I don't think it was really incredibly good. So it just started to wane. I was excited to see the match, but I also really wanted Finn Balor to win because I felt like that made more sense storyline wise, especially with the report that Rollins is actually wrestling really hurt. So like he could use a rest. And also I do love Rollins as a wrestler. I think I'm kind of getting bored of the Joker babyface character of him. Like
but
his songs,
he's not supposed to be babyface. That's the thing. It's like it doesn't matter if he's heel or face. Like he's just over regardless. That's what he's.
Yeah, but I don't know. I think him with the title is just not. It's not doing much for me. Like I don't feel like he's really elevating it. The open challenge is just like I don't think open challenges make the title more prestigious. The more times, maybe we're conditioned to wrong, but the more times you see it, I just don't know. Maybe I'm just not really that interested in a babyface WWE champion. So I think Balor makes more sense given that Damian Priest has Money in the Bank and that Finn Balor has fought Seth Rollins a million times recently, and he has lost every single match. So I'm just like, surely he has to win one, right? Like, how do we take Finn Balor seriously if he does not win one match? So I wanted him to beat Seth Rollins. I kind of knew what's going to happen.
Yeah, maybe it's that payback. I don't know. That's the next pay-per-view.
No, he's not going to beat Seth Rollins. I think this was it. This was it. Now he's going to go feud with Damian Priest.
The crowd was pretty split. I mean, when from the crowd when we saw like the spotlight hit on Damian Priest, was like, oh, like either this is going to turn into a triple threat, or we thought, okay, Balor's going to go over, and then Priest will hit him with the briefcase, whatever, and then pin him. I thought for sure that was going to happen. I thought we were going to see both cash ins. Like we'll talk about the other one in a minute, but I thought we were going to see both, Money in the Bank people cash in, but it didn't work out that way. I thought that was a great match, nevertheless. Judgment Day they continue to get over. They get the most reactions outside the bloodline, I feel like, in WWE. So, especially Dominic Mysterio, like he just has to show his face on screen, and fans just immediately start booing. They say they call him all different types of names. Like it's out of control. So, but yeah, I don't know the direction they go with Finn from here. Triple H was very what's the word? He was very showman like after the press conference, kind of, because someone asked him, "Oh, like what do you think? What do you envision for Finn next?" He's like, "Oh, like he's great and he does this." And so I'm like, I mean, obviously he wasn't going to tip his hand, obviously, on a press conference, but hopefully they figure out something with him, because once again, Balor in NXT was ridiculous. So the fact you go from that to what he's become, it's kind of crazy.
And the thing is, you would think with Triple H, I guess running creative in air quotes, because Vince McMahon at the end of the day is still over him, but you would think Balor would be elevated a little bit more. He has been elevated since Triple H taken over, but he still doesn't have that NXT Balor aura. Like, I prefer him as a heel over a babyface, but he doesn't have that NXT Balor aura to me. And I think it's just mostly because of the booking. I can't shake how he still lost to Roman as the Demon when I guess God turned heel on him and destroyed the turnbuckles, leading him to fall to get pinned. And the way he lost to Seth Rollins, he looked like a complete idiot. Damian Priest was trying to help you out. Like, stop arguing and take the briefcase and smash Rollins' head in. Like, what are you doing? You look like an idiot.
Yep, totally agree. And obviously he ends it with the curb stop. And I was like, well, when I saw that, I was like, well, that's the end of the match. Because when I saw that spot, I was like, yeah, they're not gonna have him kick out of this. It's over. So, well, for one person that had NXT shine to another person that has NXT shine, triple threat. So Bianca Belair, Asuka, and Charlotte for the women's title. Initially, I thought this was going to be the match that stole the show. I thought it was great, but
Quick
Aaron
question.
pointed out something, or Jocelyn pointed out something to Aaron. So so speak about your thoughts on that match first before you get into what what happened later on.
Nah, go ahead, Shay. You said you got a question.
Now, yeah, I just before we really get into the meat of the match,
Mm-hmm.
what was the crowd really as bored as it came off on TV? Because this crowd was absolutely silent. It sounded like a library during that match until the ending.
For the triple threat.
Yeah.
Yeah, initially until the end, and I put an air quote until the injury happened. Because she had everybody for a moment. Like everyone was like, "Oh shit!" Like, did she really? Because I don't. We didn't see this. Like, usually that means that something happened. But just from where we were sitting out, we were sitting on the back of where the announcers were, Michael Cole and them were. So when we seen the fall, it was like, that looked pretty bad. And then obviously what transpired after. But yeah, people were kind of, because they thought Charlotte was gonna win, so people were already like,
Oh, I mean, that's understandable.
Yeah, they thought they thought Charlotte was going to go over because usually she does in those matches. And then she always gets cashed in on. That's another thing too. We thought, okay, she's going to win.
That's what I thought was going to happen. I thought they were just going to pad her championship stats. I knew Io was always going to take it, but I just thought she wanted to pad her stats. But maybe she didn't want to get pinned. Maybe she put that. Creator, I'm not getting pinned.
Right? Yeah. I mean, and she has. I mean, she has enough control at this moment to to say that, I guess. But I think that's what, because the rumblings were there, especially in my section. It was like it was a bunch of fuck Charlotte. I'm sick of Charlotte. Why is she in this match? Like people were pissed. So yeah, I think that's what it was. And people were just mad that Asuka was looking like the third wheel in that match. I think that's what
not just the match, the whole feud. You forget she had a championship.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
She didn't even come out last.
Right, exactly. I'm like, that's on Triple H. So, like, how do you not have? She should come out last. The champion. Either you're coming out first.
They rather have Bianca advertise that drink come out last than the actual champion.
Yep. I mean, I love Bianca though, so I'm always in favor. But yeah, that like I said, that injury had people going. And yeah, like I said, she forgot how to. how to hold on to which knee. That was crazy.
Asuka had a CM Punk championship run. She had a CM Punk WWE championship run. She has the title, but you forget she has the title sometimes because when Cena and The Rock were there, CM Punk was the afterthought. When Bianca and Charlotte were there, Asuka was the afterthought.
Yeah, it's funny. Quick aside, think about that. I remember CM Punk fought Jericho for the title at WrestleMania 28, and you don't remember because
it wasn't the main event.
Like that's crazy. Chris Jericho is once again he's not some mid level star. Like that should have been that could have been the main event.
In WWE, he was pretty much upper mid card. He wasn't really always main event. So
yeah. That's true. That's true. But I was just like, wow, that's so yeah. That's when I that didn't dawn on me until you just said that. But nevertheless, like I said, I enjoyed the match, and once again, it was great to see Io Sky come in there. I honestly thought that Bayley was going to turn on her at that moment because I felt like
my eyes didn't leave the screen. Like, and
should like do something, hit her with a belly to belly, and be like, all right,
and on TV too, WWE kept playing with us as they kept having the solo shot on Io, making you think that Bayley's just going to come from behind. Like they kept having the solo shot on Io, like they were playing for our emotions. Like they knew what we were thinking.
Yeah, I thought for sure going to turn her. I thought for sure, but I was like, nevertheless, like I said, they set it up greatly. Bianca ends up getting the win. Io comes and cashes in on her, which I think tells the story. So last year at SummerSlam, Damage Control started off against Bianca Belair and Becky last year after their match. So I guess that was like their long-term story of like, oh, okay, like it started against Bianca. why not cash in against Bianca and win that? So that was a great moment for Io Sky. So congrats to her on her run. So we'll see how long that run goes before
Charlotte takes it.
Before Charlotte takes over. So that being said, let's get into the main event. Jay is in your city. Main event, tribal combat. Roman Reigns with Jey Uso for the Universal title. So, just thoughts on that and just how that match progressed.
Honestly, I don't think it's worth talking about anything other than the ending. This ending, I've seen it on wrestling pages. I mean, the thing was that I knew it could happen. I knew WWE could do this, but I also felt like it was the dumbest thing to do. It was a Vince Russo type swerve. It's a swerve for the sake of being a swerve. Why? Yep. So this is Jimmy Uso's logic, right? Yo, Us, my cousin and my little brother who put me in the hospital, I'm going to help them out to attack my twin brother, Us, because he took my shine, Us. So I'm going to help my cousin and my baby brother who put me in the hospital so I can attack my twin brother, Us. That's basically what Jimmy Uso did. Made absolutely no sense. Yep. Absolutely stupid. I don't care what segment. I don't care how fire the promo is going to be on Friday. That was a dumbass ending. That was a stupid ending. And the match, honestly, the match was kind of mid. I'm gonna keep it a buck. The match was kind of mid until compared to what I expected what those two could actually do. Yeah. And I thought this will be the match where Roman can finally win without any help. Then all of a sudden, Solo comes in again, attacks Jay.
I think that's for whatever reason. I don't know why.
It was like didn't Jay put him on the shelf on Friday? Like, why is he still here? Like, why can't they have Roman win 1-on-1? This man was beating everybody and the Undertaker in WrestleMania when he's a babyface. Now since he's a bad guy, he can't beat Jey Uso by himself. Come on now, it doesn't make any sense.
So with you, Aaron.
Jey Uso was losing to Sami Zayn.
Right. Yeah. No. Facts. So no, Aaron, you said it kind of reminded you of like old school wrestling. So how did it remind you of that a little bit?
Well, I just love it just because like The Rock and stuff. Because I guess like are they really like in real life like cousins or just in the script?
The Rock is not really a blood cousin, but more like their families are essentially like they're basically family. But the Jey Uso and Roman Reigns, they're cousins.
Yeah, I figured with those two, but that's what I thought about it. I didn't really like that the Roman Reigns took forever in his entrance, just doing his thing. I guess that's what he does.
Oh yeah,
all right. That was dumb.
He has the slowest walk ever. That's a common Roman Reigns entrance.
The crowd
with that though, my daughter Nisa, she's into this. She loves wrestling and the MMA. So when this was going down, she had to use the bathroom, but she didn't realize it was gonna like take forever. So she's just like, I was like, buddy, you should have just went.
She should have known if she really watched wrestling. She should know. Roman Reigns match. I just handle my business, come back.
Yeah, she wasn't even thinking.
Walking.
So but. I thought, it wasn't too bad. I guess didn't really like the help. I figured Shay said that he would just win on his own. But in the beginning, he's beating the shit out of him with the katana, throwing him in, throwing him out of the ring and stuff. So
it was spot. Yeah, that's but like you said, Shay, and like I said, both of y'all alluded to, is like every now and then WWE try to get too cute with their finishes, and this was a prime example of trying to be too cute with a finish. And my thing is, it eliminates what the whole trial combat thing was supposed to be. If they brought it up, it'd been billed as, it's trial combat, so it's going to be 1-on-1. Now, of course, how it's been going, Solo ever since Clash of the Champions last year has been involved in damn near every match, so that's what's going to be. To me, it was the perfect spot to have Solo turn on Roman, because I think eventually we're going to get that match. I think Solo versus Roman, that's the next match eventually that's going to happen. So I feel like maybe a Survivor Series, maybe, potentially. But yeah, I mean, listen, this has been the definition of long term, storytelling. I remember back in the day with Triple H and Shawn Michaels. their rivalry was like 2 years when Shawn Michaels came back. So it looks like that's what they're going into. It's year 3 of this. And the thing is that the Usos, Jimmy and Jay, they talked about it in the interview. They wanted to have a one-on-one match. So I guess maybe this is their path to doing it. I just thought, like I said, I agree with you, Shay. I thought it was dumb. It was dumb the way they did it. Once again, there was other paths to get to it than to do what they did, last night. So I said, I once again, this probably means that Roman is probably champion to WrestleMania 40. I don't see a path of how he loses it before, because it now there's nothing that would make sense for him to lose it now until WrestleMania 40. So they're going to draw that out. He'll have a couple of matches. It'll be the same rinse, repeat. Cheat, rinse. Stack him, pin him, and then leave. He'll have his Bruno Sammartino run, and it'll be ended. Hopefully by my guy L.A. Knight. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's definitely not going to happen. I love LA Knight, but
he needs to win. He just, I don't know if you do it against Gunther, who I feel like Aaron would like a guy like Gunther.
No.
I feel like throwback guy.
Good. We even talk about that match, but
he's phenomenal. I think he's great.
Listen, my only favorite wrestler is The Undertaker. All right, I'm not going on anyone else.
But I think Gunther is phenomenal. What they've done with that character, I love the entrance. It's great. He's awesome.
He's going to possibly be the next person to have a long run. Probably not with the WWE title, with the World Heavyweight title.
It's already there.
With the world champion, as a world champion, he's going to be the next long heel champion. It's going to be Gunther, but
he deserves it. He delivers every time, and I'm here for it. I think he's awesome. So
the difference with the Triple H Shawn Michaels feud is that Triple H was still feuding with other people in between Shawn Michaels.
Yes. Right.
Yes.
Roman Reigns is like, I guess technically he has been feuding with other people, but I don't know. I feel like now the story has officially been dragging when this is the ending. Because really think about this, Roman has to be the luckiest person alive. The way he keeps his titles, because he can't win on his own. So it had to take the turnbuckles exploding on Finn Balor for Roman to retain. It has to take Jimmy, his cousin that he sent to the hospital, attacking his own twin brother for him to retain. You even see Roman's face. Roman couldn't even understand the booking. When Roman looked at Jimmy Uso, like he couldn't even understand it. Like it makes absolutely no sense. Yeah, the story is starting to drag, and it's, to me, now looking at this, they should have done Roman versus Cody at SummerSlam and have Cody win, because at this point now, what else can they tell? Now we're going to have a Jimmy versus Jay feud. And
that's going to be WrestleMania 40. So, remember, I enjoyed...
And that's still a long time away.
It is. But, I enjoyed Matt versus Jeff at WrestleMania 25 years ago. I thought that was
a good one.
You know what I'm saying? So, that's the... so I once again, I get why... I get that aspect. Once again, I just don't get how they got there. That's my thing.
I've seen this on the internet that Rikishi has raised the worst children.
Oh my god!
I love it. Shit! But there's another one too. That's in he's in Booker T's promotion.
Yeah, that's Umaga's son.
Umaga's son, yeah. Because once again, it keeps going. Like once again, Booker T still works with them.
Cody can finally finish the story at WrestleMania. Solo's turn against Roman. Roman's by himself. And when Cody's about to go with his 7 crossroads, and the referee's about to knock his palm down for the 3 count, all of a sudden Cody is dragged out. And what's it? Oh, it's Silla Fatu. That's Umaga's son. He hits Cody with Samoan splash. And Roman hits a spear on Cody. Roman retains. Cody still can't finish the story. That'll be next year's WrestleMania. Never gonna end, man.
Like it's never gonna end. It's just like, oh my god. Like, yeah. So once again, I would not be surprised by Royal Rumble that Zilla Fatu makes his makes his debut. Because it's just like it's a story that keeps giving in their regard. They're gonna keep prolonging it because once again it is drawing the most money. And they're like I said, they keep talking about how much money they're bringing in each event. So as long as people are drawing in to come see this, they're gonna draw this out. Unfortunately, so but something has to give. Something has to give, and like I said, there's another wrinkle that we haven't seen yet. That's going to come. I just know. I don't know what it is. I can't predict it. But I know that it's coming.
I'm just glad that we had The Rock when we were kids.
Yes. That's another wrinkle. Well, speaking of that, that's another wrinkle. People are talking about maybe The Rock comes back to face.
I feel like he has to. You have Grayson Waller calling out The Rock. Mm-hmm. You have even Jey Uso during that match doing the people's elbow spot and doing the whole spit in the hand and punch thing that The Rock does. Yep. So, like, I feel like they're egging this on too much. That means The Rock is eventually coming. I don't know if he's for WrestleMania,
good, like performing wise.
Oh no, of course not. Definitely not.
No, he's just done. Okay.
He's probably. He was never the. We loved him for not that he had bad matches, but we loved him for
it's pretty much LA Knight, not for wrestling, but for the promos.
Right, but it's just like I feel like LA Knight's not even as like The Rock was kind of stiff at times, like and I think that's just where people forget. I thought his last run from 2011 to 14 was okay. I enjoyed that match with him and John Cena at Survivor Series against oh my god, why am I drawing a blank? Oh, I guess Miz and R-Truth. Which I mean, it's funny. That's so wild. There was a time that Miz and R-Truth were the hottest tag team in the world. Like that. That's insane to me. That was a thing. The Awesome Truth.
I didn't even realize the Miz was going to be in this. I thought he was still doing his TV show until I saw him in that.
Yeah, I mean, he hasn't really wrestled like that lately. He's been doing a lot of just regular like little segments on the show. But yeah, he I feel like he'll probably get another run himself at some point. But yeah, like I said, LA Knight is white hot right now, and Triple H keeps saying good things come to those who wait. But I'm like, look, man, you don't want another Damian Sandow type of thing on your hand. Remember Damian Sandow was someone else that was also super hot at one point, and then it kind of just crashed and burned because fans forget about you after a while. So capitalize while you can. I don't know whether you give him a mid-card title, you let him win the Royal Rumble. I don't know, but something has to. And maybe that was their test yesterday, was to see how they would react. But I'm like, how they're going to react because every time his music drops, they go crazy. Like, and I can get to this because we're about to close. I was at AEW a few weeks ago, right, for Blood and Guts because I worked that event. On the balcony where I was posted, they're yelling, "Yeah!" Like like this man is, and another promotion that has nothing to do with WWE. They're yelling L.A. Knight, yeah, like that. So that tells me, and like this guy is the guy right now. Like let him have some type of run. Like he's clearly earned it. And I know it wasn't the way they usually do it with guys. Like they usually push guys to the moon. They haven't done that with him. The fans literally decided, no, he's the guy. So we'll see what happens there. But that we could wrap it up. Unless there's any other final points we want to make.
I just want to say, the Miz was also on The Real World.
Yeah,
so everybody doesn't remember that.
Yeah, we know that. Yeah, I mean, we ain't that.
Know about people who are going to listen to this.
Yeah, we ain't that young. We know that.
About the younger listeners, all right, they wouldn't know that.
Yeah, some might have forgotten that, but yeah, he's come a long way from that and messing up a promo early on. It's like, oh, the number is so yeah, he's come a long way from that. He's been a mainstay for a number of years. So yeah, like I said, hopefully we can do more of these. Like I said, next one probably would be around the time of Survivor Series. Because that's the next big show. But this was cool. So for Aaron Cass and Shea Manera, we'll see you next time. Peace.